All right, so we're going to get started. Okay, Maria Montessori says that whoever touches the life of a child, be it a teacher, be it the mother, be it the caregiver, you're touching the most sensitive point of a whole. Because you have the child coming to you with his past, you're influencing his present and influencing his future. So it's a very, very important responsibility that you're taking on. So we're going to find out, first of all, who this woman was who changed the way education was happening in the world. And she revolutionized everything. The way children were looked at after that completely changed. This is Dr. Maria Montessori. She was born in 1870 and she died in 1952. She was born in a very small village in Italy called Ancona. Her mother was an educated lady, which was quite rare for those days. Women they were not encouraged to study. Her father was in the military forces. And from a very, very young age, Maria Montessori showed great levels of intelligence. She was really, really smart. She wanted to study. She grew up and she said to her parents, I want to be a doctor. Now that was something that was unheard of. Women did not become doctors. There were no women doctors in the late 1800s. So her father said, no, I don't think so. Just become a teacher, that's what women do. But her mother encouraged her and she said, you know what, if you want to be a doctor, go ahead. And she helped her daughter towards pursuing this career. When she applied to medical school, she was rejected and rejected and rejected over and over again because they did not even admit women into such a program. So she had no choice but to go to engineering school. And that's Maria Montessori in her technical school days. But while she was there, she didn't give up on her dream. She continued to appeal to people, to different ministers and professors and the head of Italy. Finally, she appealed to the Pope. And he was the one who wrote letters and granted her permission to enter a medical program. And she went on to become the very first woman doctor in Italy, which was a great accomplishment in those days. There were, it would have never been easy for her to do that. Not that they'll lay out the red carpet and say, oh, come, let's make it easy for you. They made it really hard for her, when you're studying medicine, at some point you have to work on dead bodies, right? The men said, we will not be in the same room as a woman when we are doing this. So after the college was closed, at night when there was nobody there, she had to come and do her training on the dead bodies alone. Because the men said, we won't have her here in this room while we are here. So these are the challenges she had to go through, and she was able to become the first doctor in Italy. Now, during her internship, when you're training to become a doctor, you have to do internship. One day, they had to go and visit a center for children with disabilities. Now, in those days, they didn't call it a center for special needs. They called it an asylum. In those days, they thought any child who has a disability, a learning deficiency, that these children are useless. We cannot educate them. Parents did not know how to deal with these children. They didn't know what to do. So they would put them in these asylums where nurses would look after them and make sure that they're fed and they're healthy. That's it, because we can't educate them anyways. They're a waste to society. So she went with a team of doctors one day to check on these children, and they took bread and cake and things for the children to eat. After they finished eating and the doctors were getting ready to test these children and make sure they're in good health, she saw the children were sitting on the floor playing with the breadcrumbs. They took the breadcrumbs, they were rolling it in their hands, they were putting it in their mouth, but they were full. So one of the caretakers there said, look at these children, they're so greedy. They've had so much to eat and still they want more food. And she looked and she said, no. She realized that this is not what's happening. Then she looked around their classroom and she saw there was nothing there. Okay, there was no toys, there was nothing to touch, the walls were bare, there was no stimulation for these children, and what they were seeking was that sensory stimulation. So she went home that night and she was quite disturbed and she had all these questions. What can I do to help these children? They need something. So she looked into the work of a Frenchman called Jean Itard and somebody who worked under him, Edward Sagan. And they had worked on cases, and they believed that children with mental disabilities can be educated. We have to do a different style of teaching them. It cannot be the regular way. They had worked on a case called the Wild Boy of Aveyron. The Wild Boy of Aveyron is what we call a feral child. Have you guys watched The Jungle Book and Tarzan? And you know, those were boys that were left in the wild, right? And they behaved like animals. That's fiction, of course, but those are feral children. He's a real life feral child. At some point, he was abandoned in the forest. One day when he was early teens, he came into this village of Aveyron out of the forest, completely behaving like an animal. Jean Itard heard about him, took him back to Paris, and he worked with this child to educate him and rehabilitate him so that he could, you know, merge into human society. So she looked into his studies and she decided, I think I can do something for these children. And in 1898, she gave a lecture about training children with mental challenges. They appointed her to become a director of one of these institutions and looking after children with mental challenges. While she was there, she developed a lot of the things that we're going to work with actually started while she was working with these children. She discovered there. And she developed materials, activities to help these children to read and write. Children who people thought will never read and write. She developed exercises. And she said it has to be a different way of learning for them. Bear with me just a minute. Sorry. So she said, if I want to teach these children anything, I cannot stand like I am standing in front of you and talking about it. It has to go through their senses, and then it will imprint on their mind. Okay?